Hi, this is Cousin Russ. Welcome to the beginning of my preparation for the release of the 1950 U.S. federal census. This presentation is part of a program that Dear Myrtle has established, and I am participating in. And so I'm going to talk about the program and what I'm going to be doing over the next year. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about Family Tree Maker 2019 and my plan on how to use it going forward. It is part of the program called Census Genie by Dear Myrtle, and it's a series of meetings that we will be doing for the next year or so. And for branding purposes, I wanted to put this screen up as the branding for the program that Dear Myrtle is running. Now, we have already started, but it's not too late to join in, as we have already recorded 2 sessions on this project. I want to review what we're going to be doing, and this will be a brief summary, and I will have links in the description on YouTube on how to get to some of these places. We're going to start off in April 2020 with monthly meetings. Now we'll do a couple extra ones, but in general, we'll be doing monthly meetings between 2021 and February 2022. And then in March of 2022, we're going to be adding weekly meetings. All of this is in preparation for the release of the 1950 census on April 1st, 2022. So as we approach April 1st, we will have weekly meetings. And then in April 2022, after the release, we will have nightly meetings for a couple of days or weeks, depending on what's needed by the community. Some of our meetings will be watch parties where we will watch a video and discuss the video. We may be doing some live demonstrations on how to do whatever we come up with, and we will do them in the Zoom meeting format. But live videos or live demos, we will demonstrate whatever the community needs at that point in time. And we will have live questions and answers as we proceed. So how do we get there, and what can we start doing now in preparation for the release of those records? We did this 10 years ago when the 1940 census came out, and we were pretty successful in using this format. So we're going to try it again in 20 and for the 1950 release. What Myrtle suggested in the first presentation is start with a new folder. That may be a new file, but start something new. Make a copy of your existing database and put it into a new database, whatever your genealogy software program allow you to do. Prepare a to-do list. And that's what I'm going to do and talk about over the next couple of weeks. But prepare a to-do list. Collect the data that you may already have. Review what you already have. You may have some of the answers that you may need already, but get them organized so that when you need them for the 1950 census, you have them available. There are a lot of resources available for the 1950 census release, and I will have links as we go in the description. And some of them may be videos, some may be websites, but we will make resources available. We've already done that on Dear Myrtle's blog on Census Genie. Develop a plan for yourself. How do you want to get ready, or education? How do you want to get ready for the release of these documents? What do you want to? What is on the document? How does your family fit in to the 1950 census? All of the meetings that Dear Myrtle puts out have live closed captioning, and they are recorded on YouTube and accessed from the YouTube channel or through Dear Myrtle's blog. Again, I will put links in the description for this video. Our next meeting is May 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a meeting, and again, closed captioning. The dates are on the screen right now, but if you register from Dear Myrtle to the meetings, you will have this list, but because it is a Zoom meeting, it will not, you will not get reminders. Dear Myrtle's webinars send out reminders for the webinars, but the meeting format does not do that. But if you add the event when you sign up for the Census Genie, when you sign up, add it to your Google Calendar. Let Google Calendar give you the reminders. That's the way I do it. Again, for branding purposes, this is the graphic that you will see for this project that we're working on. Project, program, I'm using those two verbs at the same time, and sorry for the confusion. Okay, so now what am I going to do? Here's my plan, and I'll share it with you. And again, I am this will not be one recording. It will be a series of recordings, which will end up by being blog posts. So here are the steps that I'm working on that I have developed in preparation for the release of the 1950 census. The first step within Family Tree Maker, I'm going to create a filter, use the filter feature for everybody that I am focusing on. And I will tell you what's in that filter in this presentation, but in a follow-up presentation, I will actually create it and show you how to create it using Family Tree Maker. The purpose of the filter is getting my 12,000 person database down to a number of profiles that I expect to find or hope to find in the 1950 census. So once I create that filter, then I'm going to review the profiles that I already have. Again, I've got a year to do that, so it's not a rush, but I'm going to get started earlier because I want to review each of the profiles. Now, I expect to have about 220 profiles that I expect to find in the 1950 census. That's just what I'm thinking. I will, as I go through this process, I may up that number, may make that number smaller. So I'm going to review the profiles. But as I've learned to use Family Tree Maker, I know that I've made some changes or created rules on how I want to handle the data that's in my database. So I'm going to take this time when I review the profiles, I'm going to clean them up because, again, I've made some changes on how I handle data over the years, the past 10 years to be exact. So I want to make sure they meet my current standards. And what I have to do next is to track my progress, and I'll show you how to do that as we go along. So I'm going to create a filter. I'm going to review profiles. I'm going to clean them up, and I'm going to track how I'm doing. So my initial filter, and this is, if you know the filter feature, you can work right off of this list. But again, later on, I will have another recording that will show you actually how to create the filter. My initial filter is going to include everybody in my database. And I don't want to miss anybody because I'm going to let Family Tree Maker find the people that I should be able to find in the 1950 census. So I'm going to take that 12,000 and reduce it by filtering out everybody who died before 1950. 1949 is the date that I'm going to enter, because the way I have the dates, if I only have an about birth date or death date, I want it to pick it up. So I'm going to filter out everybody who died before 1949. The other end of the spectrum, I'm going to filter out everybody who was born after 1950. I don't expect to find them in my database. Oh, by the way, that assumes that I keep my data error report clean or identified where I have issues. I'm also going to filter out anyone who does not have a residence fact. That means that I haven't found where they lived in the past. Again, I'm filtering out globs of people to get down to a manageable list of people to review. So I get rid of everybody where I don't know where they lived at any point in time from any record, not looking just at census records, but every time I find a record where somebody lived, I mark it as a residence fact. So if I don't have any, I'm going to get them off of my list. And in the 1940 census and other records, we can have addresses. Well, I'm going to filter out everyone who does not have an address. Now, once I have filtered them out, going forward, I can always filter them back in. So, but this is my initial list of people that I have a residence fact, that I have an address fact, and that will help me find them in the 1950 census when I have access to those records before they are indexed. So once I have that list of people, and again, I expect somewhere around 220, 225 people that I should be able to find in the 1950 census. And because I'm starting a year early, I may be able to add more people as I find more records, add more people to that list. So now that I have my starting list, I'm going to review those profiles. One of the things that I learned between the 1940 census and now is that I have consistently made any census record residence fact with the date that the census was officially planned for. And in this case, the 1940 census, that was April 1st, 1940. Other census years had different dates, but I mark what the official date of the census record was in the residence fact. This is how I handle my data. One of the things that I found that was very important in the 1940 census was that I needed the supervisory district, or more specifically, the enumeration district. That was helped me greatly in identifying people and where they lived in the 1940 census. And the data that I've seen so far, the enumeration district will be very important for the 1950 census. I included the supervisory district as part of what I record. And it has also helped me locate where people were since 1940. Now, I, on the screen, have written SD and ED. That is how it is recorded in the 1940 census record. If you look at the census record, it will say SD number and ED number. So I wanted to, right now, I see that information in the citation, and I recorded it as SD and ED. I didn't spell out for the 1940 census, did not spell them out. Other census records, I spelled them out as they are on the record itself. But what I do, because I want to be able to see it very quickly in the people workspace person view, I have the SD and ED in the description line of the residence fact. So as I review, I make sure that I have the SD and ED that's in the citation that's in the description field for the residence fact. Other facts that I pull off of a census record, I have the date that's on the census record, on that census record page, the date that the enumerator actually visited that household. I could have put 1 April, which is what it says, but what I've happened to me a couple times where I found that people ended up in a 1940 census record twice. Hints to follow, to merge, do the web merge feature of having the US record in my database. This was not consistent, but that is one thing that I'm nation. And I will show you when I do a review of what it means. The other thing that I was preview 1950. That's the text of the profiles that I have. Once I have done them, I am to low priority. Family Tree Maker 2019 for the release of the 1950 U.S. Federal Census. I will have other blog posts and videos for many of them on how to actually do some of this stuff in Family Tree Maker, and I will do them one at a time and make them available on YouTube. That's all I have to say for now. So thank you very much for listening and have a great day.